Hey guys, so what am I doing here? Well, I am going to make an egg bake in the oven to have in the fridge. And it's going to be egg whites, scallion, Cubanelle peppers, and fresh tomatoes. And that's it. And it's going to be egg whites because it's healthier, lower cholesterol, and it has protein. And I can grab a piece of it, eat it for breakfast without having to worry about what to eat for breakfast because trying to be healthier. So let's get started. I have a dozen eggs here, and I'm going to use 2 whole eggs and then 10 egg whites. Now you can just buy a container of egg whites and just use the egg whites from a container without having to separate and wasting the yolk. But I don't have any at this moment and I want to make this now. So 2 whole eggs, 10 egg whites. So once I separate all the egg whites, then I'm going to put in the seasoning and I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so I have my egg whites separated. I'm going to put some black pepper. I am not putting any salt today because I'm trying to do lower sodium. If you want to add salt, this is where you do it. I have a tablespoon of fresh chopped parsley, and you can do garlic powder also. I'm going to do some of that instead of the salt, and I'm going to do about maybe a whole teaspoon. I'm not really measuring, I'm just eyeballing it. Guys, my camera turned off, but after I beat the eggs, I added the tomatoes, I added the Cubanelle pepper, and I added the 5 scallions. So now I'm just going to get my glass baking dish, and I am going to put some olive oil in the bottom just to grease it up because I don't want this sticking, and it's very easy for this to stick. So you want to make sure you do a nice spritz of olive oil, get your brush, and just make sure you coat the sides and the bottom really, really well before you pour your egg veggie mixture in there. So I am over on the other side, turning on the toaster oven at 400 degrees for 30 minutes because it is really hot outside and I do not want to turn on the oven to bake this. So I'm going to bake this in my toaster oven. So I'm getting it preheated. So if you hear that ticking sound right now in the background, that's my toaster oven. It's getting nice and hot. So as soon as I'm done pouring this in here, I can go put this in the toaster oven, and I put it in for 30 minutes and then just give it a jiggle. If there's any liquidy in the middle left, then just put it back in for another 5 and it's done. But usually 30-35 minutes, and this is perfectly done. Okay guys, last minute decision here. I did not put any salt in the bake, but I'm going to put a little sprinkling of feta cheese right on top. And even though feta cheese does have a good amount of salt in it, I'm only putting a little bit. And cholesterol-wise, I read that feta cheese is one of the better ones. So instead of cheddar cheese and all these other cheeses that I used to use a lot of, I'm just going to put this little sprinkling of feta right on top. And that's going to give it a nice little burst of flavor and yum. Right in the toaster oven. I'll see you in 30 minutes. Okay guys, so I just took this out of the toaster oven. I cooked it in the toaster oven because it was 95 degrees outside and I don't feel like heating the kitchen. And you can cook in your toaster oven, it's totally fine. So I put this in the toaster oven, 430 minutes, and when the thing went off, I grabbed my rag and I just went in there and shook it. It didn't move. It's done. So it smells divine. It looks delicious. So I'm going to let it cool a little bit before I pop it out of the pan and cut it into little squares. Kind of like egg brownies, but for breakfast. Okay, so this cooled down a little bit. Now I'm going to take my little silicone spatula and I'm going to go around all the edges just in case it's stuck at all. And I'm going to loosen it up. And I'm also going to take a really, really super flat spatula that's a little bendable once I loosen the edges, and I'm going to go underneath and just loosen it up in case it's stuck to the bottom at all, because once you flip this out, you don't want it stuck because then it'll just break and fall apart. So you want to make sure it's completely loose. And if you're using non-stick cookware, I would still spritz some olive oil in there because even then it can stick. So just take my silicone spatula and I'm just going all the way down, scraping it off the bottom in case it's stuck at all. And once I slide it out, you're going to see that there was a little bit of stickage, but because I did this, it came out no problem. So here we go. Ta-da! Look at that beauty. See, if you look at the pan, it was stuck a little bit, but because I scraped it out, it came out in one piece and it's beautiful. And now I can cut it into gorgeous little breakfast brownies. That's what I'm calling them. Just made that up. Look at that breakfast brownie. This looks amazing. Let's give it a taste.
You making pizza? It's egg whites, tomatoes, onions. So what kind of pizza? Cubanelle peppers. And a sprinkling of feta. Nice. Mmm. This is delicious. Delicious. Mm-mm-mm. And you get a bite of that tomato. It's like juicy. Mmm. That is good. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. And something else you could do with this. I'm not gonna do it now, but you take some of this salsa verde and you heat this up and you spoon a little salsa verde over it. Amazing. But that's for another day. Right now, I'm just gonna cut these up, put them in this container, and have them in the fridge. And then I can just pop one for breakfast.
Piece of advice, when you're cutting this, do not use a serrated knife, because if you use a serrated knife, you're going to shred it to pieces and it's going to completely fall apart. So just use a regular knife and you can make perfect little brownie sized squares that you can pick up with your hand and eat like a breakfast brownie. And these heat up very well. You just nuke them in the microwave for 30 seconds and they're perfect. You can just take them out when you get up in the morning and just let it sit while you shower, get dressed, get ready, whatever you do in the morning. And by the time you get to work or by the time you're done getting ready, it'll be at room temperature and it's delicious at room temperature as well. So that's it. There's breakfast. Pop it in the fridge and you have breakfast for days. And there you have it. A quick, easy, healthy breakfast. Thanks for watching. I hope you give these a try. Bye.